One of the things that we really need to focus on is education and sustainability.
It's no secret that the art world has kind of functioned in one way as we know it for so long. And now the more we learn, the more we're trying to branch out of that and expand how we do things.
If we can educate the artists and our gallerists, as well as internally our own operators, then we can start to implement these changes on a bigger picture.
From the beginning, we wanted to use sea freight, so it wasn't very difficult in the sense that it's just a deadline is a deadline.
If you compare sea freight with air freight, you can reduce the carbon footprint 90 times. A lot of the artworks of Cindy Sherman exhibition have been shipped by sea. We saved the equivalent of 30 flights from New York to Valencia.
So managing these things with sustainability in mind, I would say, one of the biggest factors that we have to consider is time. The more time that we have, the more we can look into various options for shipping and various packing methods. All of these things kind of work together when we're thinking about sustainability. So for example, with Rashid's show, the carbon savings were equivalent to 22 return flights between New York and Paris. Not everything that goes by sea takes 1 to 2 months. Sometimes things take 2 weeks.
One of the things that we do is we use Clean Cargo. Clean Cargo gives us real-time information on what's happening with the shipping lines. Other things are using more sustainable fuels. So are they starting to use biofuels? Other things like slow steaming. Slow steaming is when they slow the vessel down, and that actually saves fuel consumption over the long term. But when you're doing things like this, you have to be thinking about the timelines, because if you're slow steaming, then you have a longer time on ocean.
Drawing on some other experiences, I had an opportunity to go really deep on our Pipolati wrist exhibition and return shipment for that. They brought things over in these desiccant Weldon bags. It's this kind of space bag looking technology, these big silver bags that are used for moisture control. Do we have that here? Can we find it? We ultimately did find a place that offered it. It wasn't something we were able to use so much for the return, but what that led to also was learning about other materials, other things that were more readily available to us. If you have something that's really tall and you need to build a special apparatus to tilt it so that it can fit inside a sea container, from what we know, where we think, oh no, but now we're building all this extra stuff. Is this now creating kind of another problem or creating, just a different kind of climate impact? But, the answer is no. And from what I've learned, you could make hundreds and hundreds of things out of wood and it will never have the same carbon impact as putting something on a plane.
We pushed the show one time. It wasn't so much because of the sea freight, it was because we had option to make the sculpture more sustainable and better, more resistant, and we wanted to make sure we go to the best for the sculpture itself. I do think a lot about it. At the studio, we think a lot about the waste. Almost all the containers we have are recycled, we reuse it. There's no yogurt container that ever go in the trash in my studio. We all clean them. I think there is a special pleasure also in reusing and recycling things in different use. We also have gotten rid of our Amazon account. That was actually not easy. And I want to tell all the artists, this is not easy, but actually it's really for the best. This is something I think is really important to communicate, that a lot of the choices to diminish waste or to go for a more ethical solution is actually bringing more quality, and it's also economical.
We know that we're not going to be able to ship everything via ocean, but that's sort of not the point. We want to ship as much as we can via ocean, but our jobs first and foremost is the safety of the artwork. What we're doing now is transitioning out of sustainability as an option to sustainability as a default.
There are always challenges and there are always surprises, but they are all good. We turn them into positive, and if something is a challenge, we learn from it.
The only way we're gonna get better at doing these things is by taking the time and doing the research and really getting in there and really being proactive on exhausting all of the limits of what's possible within these methods. The more we try, the more we learn, and then the more we can use going forward. It's like each shipment informs the next. Each project informs the next.